Yesterday there was a Mansindam arena. Now it unfortunately broke halfway through, but the upshot of that is I played a pretty lengthy 1v1 versus Shibamizo. Seems to be the very strong shogi player. He actually has, I think, the rating record on Chess in shogi. And the thing that really marked this match was he kept playing the Anaguma, which was just shoving the king behind this rook, and it would be surrounded by all these weaker pieces, which are immediately active as a result. This was kind of very unpleasant to face against anyway. But this first game here, so 3+3, which is actually a very fast time control for this game. He didn't go for that. I guess that was prep that he was keeping in reserve. Instead we had a relatively normal game. I think these moves are fairly standard. Like the mortar is probably always going to come here. The rook is always going to come there. This is a little bit odd, but still makes sense. And immediately he signals he wants to go to the right. Let's actually turn on the stockfish. Why not? Yeah, immediately saying where you want to send the king, I think it's usually a small mistake because it just makes life a lot easier for me. Like, he still has to contend with my king going either way, and you want to always like point your pieces towards the opponent. Oh, ideally you want them to both defend and attack. But for that you need like clarity of what the setup's going to be. So this already helps me out a little bit. What is that? Central rook. So we'll see quickly. Like, I think it's just a bit of a waste of time, to be honest. Like, even if you do break through here, like, what are you doing with this rook exactly? Like, you're never gonna promote a pawn on this square. So I think it's also a slight inaccuracy. I decided to send the king to the right as well. Not sure about that, to be honest. Like, we are making decisions very quickly. Immediately is able to launch an attack. Now, the thing about this, I immediately blundered here. Played the very stupid queen g4, just running into this mortar. Of course, if I don't do that and play something else, I kind of have a pretty huge advantage here. Just for with the safer king, and this central setup is a little bit awkward for him. Yeah, the computer just wants to play bishop d4. Doesn't even want to take the pawn. I mean, if you take the pawn, I'll redrop one here, and then he has to leave, and you've wasted a bunch of time. Instead, I decided to blunder. Good stuff here. It's still fine, but wasting a bit of time here is not great. And pawn here. So walking into this knight attack. Oh, the computer actually sees something. And I wouldn't trust it too much. It's only depth 13, which is quite bad in the grand scheme of things. Also, actually take this. Kind of fascinated by that. Surely not. And what's the idea now? Knight at g3. Yeah, I'm not sure it has king take. No, come on. I'm not playing king takes there. Oh, it broke. Okay, I'm not gonna trust it too. Like, it's extremely good at calculating like force sequences, but whenever it comes to like strategic evaluation, I think this new is just not quite up to scratch. So we get into this situation. Yeah, this I can say for sure is terrifying to play against. Like, remember, this is 3+3. He's just sending every single piece forward. Like, it looked to me like it shouldn't work, but it can very easily go wrong. Like, if you slip up a bit, then your king just gets checkmated. Because as soon as like a fight starts and you start trading pieces, like, he's always going to be able to find a way through. So when the fight breaks out, like, you need to be ready for it. The computer just wants to play king h1. It's like, yeah, nothing's going on here. Which, yeah, may be the case, but I have to play moves very quickly. I try this just to try and ease the pressure, I suppose. Rook takes g5. So I had a very nice move here, which I regretted not playing. I wanted to play rook here. Computer wants to put it on g6. I think it's probably the same thing. Oh, it's just hanging to the king. Okay, well, good thing I didn't play that then. But the idea is sound here. If he does take this, then you just recapture, and you have this file here, which he does need to respect. So queen takes g5. I decided to play this way, which runs into the pawn drop. I have to shift the rook away. Okay, now things have sort of calmed down. Like, we have pieces in hand now, so the calculations really get going here. But there's no like immediate follow-up, right? Queen at g7. That's a interesting one. Knight at e5. So winning an exchange for a knight, obviously all the piece values are like contracted in a type of drop game. So the knight and the rook are very similar in value. In fact, sometimes the knight is better even because it can give like unstoppable checks. But every piece has knight movement in this game, so it's not as good as in something like Crazy House. I could just play rook e3 apparently. That is pretty cold. Now dropping pieces though, it's usually what you want to be doing. Just add pieces in the defense and attack. So that kind of does this. It attacks this. It goes on a useful diagonal. Column rather. Took that one. Drops a rook. I'm going to go through these relatively quickly because we have a lot of games to look at. Just sacks a rook there and then a queen. So here I'm feeling obviously extremely happy. Like I could even take this, but it looked kind of suspicious to me. Like then his attack would have queen here, just forking that, so I'd have to drop a knight and he can. Yeah, didn't want to start taking stuff like that. It looked dicey. Peter thinks it's playable, but it prefers pawn at g. That's a cool move actually. Pawn at g8 here. You really don't want to take that with the king. Okay, but maybe you have to. Yeah, the king is in a very awkward position now. That would have been a very cool continuation. What did I play instead? Oh, I played this rook drop here. Very hilarious idea. So this bishop is defending, or this, what's it called? A chancellor, I think, is defending g7. I was like, stop doing that. This is not my strongest move, but not because he can capture it, which is hilarious. Queen at g7. So you're just like, okay, you put a rook there. What's your plan? And yeah, it is hanging still, so I'll need to sort that out at some point. He did just take it, but this gives me knight at h8 here. Sorry, no. Queen at f9 is even better. Oh, yeah, of course. So just blitz again. We played the follow-up match after the tournament broke was a much longer time control, so the quality theoretically would be higher. But I still managed to blunder multiple times. And giving me a chancellor for the knight is a bit of a wild move here. Guessing he just blundered there. Oh, this is wrong. M at g6 is given. Queen at h8 check. That's a pretty good one. Queen at h8. What exactly is the plan here? I mean, yeah, of course you can't take it for some reason, but what is that reason exactly? Oh, like this. Okay. Yeah, there's always so many tactics. As soon as like drops start, it gets wild. So I found this fairly straightforward one. Of course, queen g9 here. Or sorry, this check should be able to find. Because if Chancellor takes, you just promote this mortar with checkmate. Didn't find that though. Decided to give this check. This is always pointless in a drop game because like you can just drop something anywhere here pretty much. Here the computer immediately. I think we were literally at plus 3 seconds, so I had 3 seconds to play these moves. So I didn't find this, but I did find another cool line to finish it off. Have to liquidate that stuff. And then as soon as he lets me actually play a move, found queen here. Well, he did actually take it, so I can just show that. And if he leaves, then I'll be able to break through here with checkmate. Alright, so much for game one. After this, Shiba decided that he was going to whip out the serious prep, I suppose. And it was Anaguma almost every single game, except the last one, which he lost. So maybe he was right to just play Anaguma all the time. And let's just put it on the board to show you what it is. So if I knew he was going for this, I might just wait a bit on this move. And then again, my understanding of this, of his strategy has evolved quite a lot since this. Like having to play against it for the first time on the board is just very hard. No question about that. Yeah, we see his plan starting to materialize. He just goes into the corner, surrounds his pieces with his king with pieces, and just plays on. And the very dangerous practical thing about this is like if I ever lose initiative, because I do have a considerable initiative, if I play it right, and I think I'm already playing it wrong here. But if I play it right, I should have an initiative. But if I ever lose it, then you're in a situation where your king is just less safe. And if all else is equal, then that's almost losing, to be honest. So very dangerous practical plan that he has going here. And this first game, well, I already wasted a bunch of moves with my mortar. I think my understanding now, if you want to start a really strong attack, you should aim for this pawn instead. Because this one is just defended too many times. Like, trying to brute force through there is just a little bit too ambitious for the most part. Like, I made it work a few times, but I think it's just wrong. Yeah, but it's like putting a queen here, a mortar here maybe, and rook there, and then sending this forward. Yeah, it's much harder for him to defend that. Like, he can put a knight there quickly, but that's like, he will only get 2 pieces on there. In any case, this is the other problem with this setup here, is like the counter attack that he has with this bishop. Okay, it stops defending, but this is very annoying to deal with. Because like, this is actually hanging right now, and it's just going to be, like, my setup is just not built to handle this. And I can try to trade off a bishop, but it's not helping that much. Like, I want to use this bishop in the attack, for example. So if I do that, like, my whole plan is just incorrect. Which I think it is, after thinking about this. Why did the analysis board close? We'll reopen that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this website. Yeah, I'm a little bit of a loss for what to do here. I don't really have anything going for myself. My king is just looser. I have no way to generate any threats. Yeah, you can see I'm just dead here. Like, this bishop also is a potential start to an attack. And as soon as like something gets started, that usually just ends it. Like, the attacks almost never cool down. You know, in shogi, like, they sometimes do, but not in this game. Yeah, so this is just very ugly. Queen h8. I finally get control of this diagonal. That was a weird move for him. So interestingly, I have equality almost. Well, -1. Yeah, I'm not sure why I didn't take with the bishop. I still have these idiotic ideas of attacking. Like, I should just completely give up on attacking there and try and focus on like a slower attack. Like, if you start promoting pawns like down here, like, that's also very strong. You know, just having, you just break through a pawn here, and if nothing else is happening, then that's kind of winning as well. So you don't have to just like launch an all-out attack all the time, even though that's usually the way you want to do it. So knight here. Yeah, I really need, looking back at this is kind of embarrassing. I need to give up on the attack at this point. Yeah, see, once the attack is started, like, it just keeps going. You can keep dropping stuff, and you just keep having to react to it, and it's just losing. Yeah, I didn't have anything better than this, but this is obviously... Yeah, so he gives a queen just so he can get a drop in there, and I'm just never going to be able to cool this. He had a checkmate in 2, which you didn't notice here, but yeah, it's not going to matter. Okay. So, number 2. This was a much more interesting game. Still with the Anaguma. But this time I found it much more instructive, like the way he actually managed to beat me here. So also I'm not sure what I'm doing here. Like, if I want to go for this rook fight attack, I should not waste any time over here. Like, moving this to open the bishop, fine. Maybe moving the knight in to get it here, okay. But this knight, yeah, this is just weak, because my king might well go here. Like, if he shifts all his pieces over to this side of the board, then my king will actually be very safe over here. Right, he only has like 1 bishop pointing this way, and every other piece will be over there. I mean, same with my pieces in a way, so gotta be a bit careful. But yeah, I just need to see committal. Like, the knight would also be quicker to join into the fight, which I want to happen over here. So pretty bad errors there. Especially because my entire strategy is to get a massive initiative here. I think that's minus 0.8 here. I'm not sure what the stockfish thinks about this. So it seems, yeah, it's just hard to trust this thing. Like, this is a move, but that, like, I'm pretty sure it's just never going to be played by white. Like, that's just not what he's trying to do. He just wants to win in a battle of attrition about king safety. So really, objectively, I think it's just not a correct way to play, but like, in practice, it's obviously extremely strong, just because of like how much easier it is. Like you're just very safe, and then you just wait for the opponent to like loosen their position, and then you target that. And if the opponent doesn't loosen their position and goes for the same thing, well, okay. It's kind of like accepting that your strategy is good, which I think most people aren't going to do. Anyway, I'm starting to hallucinate a little bit. Let's see how this went. I mean, I blocked my bishop as well here. It's kind of nonsensical what I'm doing here. Okay, I did manage to open my file, but yeah, he's +2 already. Like, that's it, basically. No more ways to make progress over there. So what we find here... Okay, I send my king to the left. I'm like, yeah, I need some safety. This was a very cool move from white. The engine doesn't like it, but I think the engine is actually idiotic here. Because... what is it actually seeing even? Because king takes, the point is to take that knight, of course. And then you get this check in. What does it want to do? Still thinks this is good for me. I mean, so far so forced, basically. We just followed its recommendations. And now queen c1. So my rook is attacked and this is attacked. And like, this is defended twice, but if my like angel leaves, then queen here is extremely... oh, it is changing its mind. Yeah, it's kind of what I thought. Like, I thought that this was a fascinating process from Shiba. Like, really well-found stuff here. Like, he's not even really down material, right? Because he got... he traded knights, essentially. And then he sacked a... he traded his chancellor for a queen. So I don't think he's even down material here. He just has... like, successfully discoordinated my position even more. Yeah, the engine's actually seeing it now. Like, what do we do here? Knight at h5, like, at h5 here. Oh, h6, yeah, this makes more sense. I considered this, but I was like, yeah, maybe I should have done this, because then it covers these two squares, which is actually kind of huge. The way I did it, just retreating the rook, allowing him to take this. Now, this is really rough. I think the better practical chance here is probably to play pawn d6. But it's also the best move. Yeah, I kind of regret that. I took it because, I don't know, again, like I kind of underestimated this little attack. But the problem now is, like, if he wants, he can just take this thing and then drop that at some point. And, like, his attack will never stop unless he, like, hangs a piece somehow. So, yeah, it's completely over. And, like, at this point, it was just very clear to me, but I didn't really see that far enough in advance. So I took the rook instead of taking the mortar, but its position is still extremely good. Yeah, I allowed checkmate on board. What is the defense supposed to be? Knight at g2 check. Okay, just giving up pieces. Trying to manifest a defense, but yeah, he breaks through here, and that's it. I resigned here. All right. Next one here. So here I had like a slightly better idea of what's wrong with this website. Go into the analysis. I had a slightly better idea of the setup I wanted to do, so here I'm wasting a lot less time here. Again, by the way, I think you guys shouldn't attack on the rook file. Like, I'm not gonna do this anymore. If you must attack, then on this file would be much better. But also, you need to balance this with, like, is he actually going to like go all the way in there? Like, he could just make a few moves here, for example, and then just be like happy with this. Because it's not really necessary as well. This is even position already. I think it's just because my rook position is just nonsensical. Like, sure, he's spending a lot of time here, but I'm also kind of wasting time. Still, I was able to break through at this point. So here, I'm afraid of this diagonal now. I want to take it for myself. I also want to line up pieces. I will just put it on the board. And here, she hasn't really done anything about it. Astonishingly, the engine just doesn't care. But the plan here, to forcefully sack. The other idea is to advance this pawn and then put a pawn there. But I need a pawn in hand to do that. Still, this sack should be very... well, the refutation is to take with an archangel. Yeah. This is something that should be more... usually you're terrified of giving an archangel. That thing in hand is just extremely strong. But yeah, this position is even stronger. Like, I can't fight this bishop with archangels, so he just gets this diagonal. Yeah, I have to close it with pawn d4 apparently. I'm not breaking through here anymore, so okay. And he gets a bishop and a chancellor for his archangel. He didn't do that, so that would have been very cool. So here I'm able to actually break through. The engine wants to take on a7. No, it's no chance. Okay, yeah, it's seeing it now. He did take on a7. I'm just breaking through here. What's the... Okay. The engine is just having wild swings. It thinks that angel taking, mortar taking is a defense. No. Okay, it's changing its mind. Yeah, let's just look at the game. Oh, I had a forced mate here already. That's pretty cool. Rook there. Oh, of course. Yeah, the whole idea is to try and get this archangel in. So you can just sack everything just to get that to happen. Yeah, and he needs to take, because I have an archangel in hand, so if he would move like here, he's just getting mated. Okay. Yeah, that should have been possible to see. Here, I actually saw this in Can, but I just very quickly played this rook here, like really almost instantly, and then I regretted that, because I saw it almost immediately after. Like, I can just take here. Just take this, and then play a knight there. He can't let my archangel in, so he needs to go down, but like he's still getting mated, right? Instead, rook here. Now his mortar comes into defense. I don't really want to waste time like taking pieces here. I just want to attack normally. I came up with this. What's the engine seeing? Mortar take. Surely this is mating, to be honest. I'm almost certain that this is mating. With angel here. Does it? Oh, it does see it. Okay. I was wondering if I was just crazy, but yeah. Bishop here. The problem is like you're just gonna break through here. If you let me drop something here, like you're just dying pretty quickly. That's not the exact one. What was the checkmate I was actually seeing? Oh, take here first. Oh, the site just broke again. Yeah, let's just run that through once more. The king takes here, archangel here. Just take a look at this line. It saw the mate. Where did it forgot? What's wrong with this engine, man? Okay. Yeah, so it was a variation of this theme. Okay, very interesting checkmate there. I don't know, I got scared and played this thing, which is, yeah, it's a lot weaker. Really giving the opponent chances, especially because I recapture here. This is actually losing now. If she would have found knight at g2 here. And show that line. Like, he went for chancellor g2, which the difference with this is that after I play king d2, he can't get... he doesn't have a chancellor to drop, basically. Like, if he had a chancellor to drop, now let's just show like the correct line. Knight g2, king d2, he'd be able to drop a chancellor here, which covers all these squares. Which means I must trade it down. And then he gets well, to drop like an archangel with check here, basically. He just wants to close off this diagonal first. But yeah, you can see that this is just check mating extremely quickly. So chancellor at g2, and this, yeah, this spoils it. Or, well, I mean, it was kind of my game to begin with. I just messed it up as well. Bishop here. King c3 is the only move, which I calculate. I'm pretty sure if we allow like a check here, we just get killed. King c3. Rook here, just keep running. I have like mate on the board here. Like, he has actually no defenses, so he must essentially checkmate, or it's over. This is a rare instance in this game where he just doesn't quite have enough ammunition here. Mortar b1 here, just covering all these squares. Apparently, I thought queen takes b1 might lose, but apparently it's viable as well. Anyway, this just makes more sense. Okay, we're out of checks and the game is over. Let's see, the next one. So of course, Anaguma again. This was a lot more chaotic, if I remember correctly. But I managed to break through anyway. But I think it shouldn't have worked. Just don't have an engine for some reason. It might just be slow to load in. Oh, there it is. No, I'm playing the knight here again. Yeah, I mentioned that. I think that's an error. So the engine actually still likes this for me. Like if I would just give up on attacking the king and instead try and break through somewhere else, like you don't have to do that. Then again, I'm not sure if the engine like fully appreciates the power of like the king's safety here. Take a brief look at its line. Yeah, I mean its eval is a bit all over the place. Okay, I'll just let that be. The Archangel here also I think is a bit much, like it's just not necessary. So yeah, I just want to line up the pieces again. The engine doesn't like any of this. I'm not sure if it sees properly through everything though, so I'm not gonna trust it too much. Yeah, bishop takes here, so he does actually get in the way of my plan, like it's a little bit harder for me to just line up and then take this, or even advance this pawn and put a pawn here, now that I have a pawn in hand. That's always going to be better than just cleanly sacking a bishop. Pawn there, so now that his king is extremely safe, he just wants to start a fight and start getting piece trades. Like if he manages to like trade all these pieces and get them in hand, then my king is just going to be literally alone here. Like it's not going to be safe over there. So a very straightforward plan for him. It's up to me to try and play against that. Yeah, it's very unpleasant, I have to admit. So yeah, I should have advanced the pawn. I sacked the bishop. I always do this for some reason. Oh, the refutation actually, I think is probably because he can drop a pawn here. Is that what it wants to do? Pawn here. And this is absolutely amazing because I don't actually have time to take this thing. Like he'll just recapture the rook and then he actually defends this pawn. So he'll be safe. And if I take it with the rook, he's planning to just take it with the chancellor. And then he moves the knight and he's once again completely safe. I just can't break through anymore. So maybe my best chance is to take it with the knight here. But then can move the knight even here. Try and bring another piece into the attack, but then he doesn't have a pawn in hand. He can get a pawn. Engine doesn't want. I'm pretty sure this would be the best move. A takes, and then he has a pawn in hand to drop here again. Was the engine like that? Nah, it doesn't like that very much. Well, it's suggesting something which I find absolutely insane. Oh, come on. Oh, we lost the line again. Okay, I might... I do want to look at that. So, knight here, there. It wants to just promote this. You really think you can survive that? No. No chance. This is just dumb. Okay, thanks for that, engine. So I'm actually completely breaking through at this point. Like, this should just be over. He needs to drop a pawn, but now he's lost his Archangel. And yeah, this game's just over at this point. Like, sure, this bishop is pretty strong on this diagonal, but like, his king is now extremely unsafe. It's kind of just, that's it. I remember thinking a very long time about this. I was like, what do we do here? I ended up going with just closing this bishop. The computer wants to just continue the attack. Yeah, I guess you don't want to like let the angel come in, so maybe you have to leave this here for now. Alright, I advanced the pawn, just, yeah, clearly worse. But I was scared. I thought about it for a while as well. I didn't manage to... I don't think I actually saw pawn here. It's a bit of a weird one. And knight here. Here we're just breaking... Oh, this... I'm actually shocked that I played that. Like, rook here is just extremely obvious. Oh, angel h2. Oh, yeah, this is even better, actually. You just liquidate, and then this angel comes in. So, yeah, that's what it wants to do. And it's just very straightforwardly over, right? Take this one. We had a mortar as well in hand. Yeah, instead I wasted it here. But the attack is still extremely good. AXG4 is given. I just moved the rook, threatening checkmate, and Shiba allowed it. Rook takes I2 is actually a forced mate. But I also do this. Okay. Very pretty. Okay, unfortunately, these next few games, I don't know, my brain started, was AFK for a while. It came back. This one here, I think I just straight up blundered a piece. I just skimmed through it very quickly. This website, come on. Yeah, going for the dumb rook attack again. I mean, this should actually be kind of good for me at this point. Yeah, I just hung up. Yeah, that was kind of bad. Yeah, I don't need to really, well, let's just skip through it. And knight here. Would be kind of cute if it wasn't wasting a bunch of time. Like, I think if he just drops a queen here, it's probably forced mate, but okay, it was good enough. I resigned after seeing that. What happened here? Oh, I think I just messed up the attack, and then, yeah, the classic Anaguma situation. Your king is just unsafe for no reason. Alright, this is awful, actually. So I gave a bishop, and he now drops it here, and that's it, basically. Yeah, I've had no clue what to do. Even blundering this pawn. Yeah, it's just move on from that. Now, this was kind of sad. Like, I think I messed up the rook attack. He messes up the counter attack, and then I just hung a queen. That's kind of how this went. Yeah, so this is obviously a failure for me. Like, he just has an extra piece, and I can't really do anything. He's also eyeing this square. So here, this should be good for me, to be honest. Especially after that. But then, yeah, this was kind of very obviously dumb because he just takes it and then takes it again, and now my queen's attacked. And I kind of saw that right after playing the bishop, and I was like, no, why didn't I just play it here? It would have been a good position for me. See how good is it? It's probably like, I mean, all the pieces in hand that I have and a save king, like, just an immense position. Yeah, like plus 11. But if you hang a queen, then yeah, that's worth about 11, especially with attack. We're back to actually interesting games here, because this is also a failed Anaguma attack, but the way that like I lost it was, I think, very instructive. What the hell did I just click on? Go back. Analysis. So same setup again. Here I'm really going direct to it as well. But this counterattack move is always very irritating, because now I have the chance of closing my bishop or trading the bishop, all of which is just not brilliant. I just had to close the bishop, and now you can see that, like, yeah, attacking prospects are just not really there anymore. Yeah, I really need to attack this fight if I want to attack. And again, like, you don't have to. You can just leverage the fact that all the pieces are kind of stuck and passive over here. That might be a stronger plan. So, just making moves over here, trying to scare him a little bit. I think it's more scary than actually painful. So if he would take it with the angel again, it's just extremely good for him, according to the engine. He decided to hang his angel with check, which is a baffling choice, to be honest. Still, the fact that this is still good for him, I think, tells you all you should need to know. And now, like, here's the situation where I suddenly was like, oh, wait a minute, I'm actually just dead here after seeing this. Because this influence is just extremely strong. He even has like a second piece on here, right? So maybe it should have been a lot more obvious that I'm dead here, but even here, like, oh, here it's, no. Yeah, it is bad as well. I tried to regain control of this square, But there's another square which is loose here. The problem with having a loose king. And he just jumps in there, threatening my Archangel. Like, I really can't just let him have an Archangel in hand. But I couldn't see a way to avoid it. A at d6 is given. What's that here? So that's hardly better than what I came up with. And yeah, okay, if I take this with the Archangel, I can play on, but well, no, I can't really play on. So yeah, very interesting stuff here. Really pinpointing the fact that the risk that you take here. Like how much easier it is to play the Anaguma strategy, right? If your attack fails, your king is just extremely loose, and you just die very quickly. Okay, then the final Anaguma game. I'm still obstinately proceeding with the rook file attack, but this time, like, I really got like the perfect setup, and if you get the perfect setup, it turns out it actually works. But so, I don't actually like this setup anymore. Also, like, he doesn't have to like go all the way in there with his king, you know. Knight b5, so I have everything pointing at this square now. I'm ready to sack on there. Computer doesn't care. But the computer's an actual idiot. What is its plan here? No, no plan. Okay, good. Yeah. No, so this is a serious threat, and she obviously is not as dumb as this computer. He kind of plays this move, which, yeah, really not great, but maybe it was necessary. I mean, it looked necessary. But the problem is I can just go back and attack it again. With, probably should attack it with a knight, actually. I'm not sure what I'm doing here, but okay. Okay, finally I do it. Yeah, I think it would have been better not to allow all of this, though. Now we capture that. I decided to take this first. We get an extra piece, and this also makes his mortar worse. Like, it was actually pretty good defensively here. Now we take that rook, and then we can slap it down here. This was a very cool move, because he doesn't have a pawn in hand. If he had a pawn, you just put it here, and that would be that. But he doesn't have a pawn, and so he can either move the angel, in which case I have an extremely oppressive file here, or he can try and block it, which is what he chose to do. Now we can crash through. Even letting him take that with check, because I saw that I just play queen d2. If he lets my Archangel get involved, then I'm kind of happy with that. He does. And then immediately resigned. Yeah, I think it was already... What does the engine even want to do here? I think it's just over. Like, you can never let the Archangel be taken by a rook. Yeah, they're starting to see. So that was cool. And then the last game, finally, he gave up on the Anaguma. Finally, after how many games was this? I mean, like 5 Anaguma game. No, more than that even. Yeah, too many Anagumas. Yeah, finally plays a normal game. And here, yeah, I have to, maybe he should have stuck with it, because this was a fairly comfortable victory for me in the end. The Anaguma was really messing with my brain, I guess. Yeah, this rook take, and like I mentioned in the very first game where he also played the central rook, is that you're wasting a bunch of time. And like, I lost less time, right? Because he advances pawn all the way to here, and then he takes with the rook, and then if he takes this, then I'm putting the queen here, which is a small improvement in my position. So all of that achieved nothing. He even went back, which is probably one of the worst things he could have done. Now, neither of us really want to drop a pawn here, because well, it's a waste of time, simply. So we just both leave it here. And he shifts his king to the different side of the board this time. So a few more natural moves. I was quite pleased with this one, actually. It's a bit of a weird move to be making. Okay, we are attacking this, and we're centralizing it. Like, my first instincts when I first started this game was that, like, it would be all about getting the weaker pieces to be active, because being a weaker piece, it has a stronger attack, right? The bishop attacking something, like, you really have to respect that, because you can't challenge it with a more valuable piece, or well, you can, but you lose some material in that case. But these heavier pieces, okay, their attack is slightly weaker, but it's still like a very powerful piece, right? It's influencing a bunch of stuff over here. So yeah, cool move here. I guess a shift in understanding with that one. C5, yeah, really nonsensical. Like I could probably take it. Don't have to take it. Well, I kind of need to take it. I mean, I can't just take it. I'm not really sure what the plan here was. Like, sure, you get the position one, but well, this is of questionable value. I did decide to walk into the bishop pin here. I reasoned that, okay, let's just get a really safe king, and then this stuff should be kind of loose. So he takes that. I want to trade the rook at this point, because at this point I don't really want my queen to be pulled there. I want it to stay on the back rank. And also, well, he should take with the mortar, but he decided to take in a weird way, which weakens his position a bit. Oh, pawn at e3 is a very cool move, actually. Yeah, I just have a huge initiative here, because the bishop wants to take this. It doesn't want to defend. I didn't see that, though. He took this, and now here, this should be a winning position. But just because I'm eyeing these two squares in his camp, like this one in particular, is very annoying for him to deal with. So my king is a lot safer for once against Shiba. And he has a bit of a rough choice to make here. Queen takes d5 is suggested. That is... okay, it's no longer suggested. That was a bit wild. That's how valuable this knight is, just eyeing that square. To give an inkling. He positioned this passively. Yeah, you can see how scared he is of this stuff as well. But yeah, it's a really sad move to be making. Even can directly attack. Pawn at e3 is still better. Yeah, I didn't really see these pawn moves. They're hard to see in this game for some reason. Maybe that's just a skill issue, to be honest. So he felt like he needed to take it. And then queen to... yeah, maybe should have done that earlier in that case. So now at least he's the one making some threats, right? Putting something here and liquidating. I don't actually need to be scared of that immediately. Like if he puts a bishop there, I can actually just take it. And then he can drop a mortar there. It is scary, and I got scared. So I put a rook there. The engine doesn't seem to care at all about any of this. Just wants to put this here. I think this might actually serve an important defensive purpose, though. Because if he does try something like this... okay, we still just take it. And then he can't drop it here. Okay, yes, that was the point. And if you try and like force it anyway, you're too slow. Okay, so that would have been better. You have to see a little bit deeper to see that the real threat was mortar here, not bishop here. But yeah, skill issue for sure. I have to block this. I can't just like allow him to eye this square and so on. So a very easy move to make. He tries to break through, but yeah, well, that is just straight up hanging, to be honest. So I took it. Then rook at a8, just block it. Take that, take to the queen, and resigned here. Yeah, I mean his attack is spent, and I have a bunch of pieces in hand, so it's going to be very hard to defend. But like, I mean, there's still some play left, but it's okay. It's not a mistake to resign, I think. So that does conclude all of the games here. I think this is quickly becoming one of my favorite variants. Like just shogi rules, but with all of these incredibly powerful pieces. It really puts like the fear of existence into you. Shogi is also extremely interesting. Like just the way you have no idea what's going on most of the time. I kind of like that feeling. So I might take a closer look at shogi, especially now that I have proper pieces. I couldn't take the cursive monochrome pentagons. That was absolute hell. Alright, hopefully you were inspired to try some Mansindam. I'll see you in the next one.